was a temptation. Somehow it just happened. I didn't. It was a temptation. Somehow it just happened. I didn't stop it.
He agreed to tell us about his crime as long as we kept him in shadow. This man left prison 3 weeks ago after serving time for molesting a 12-year-old boy multiple times.
His parents trusted you completely?
Yes. Yes.
And the victim trusted you?
Yes.
All the parents always think it's going to be the Philip Doritos of the world.
Sex crimes investigator Jim Cerna has more than a decade of experience catching the predators who target children. What he wants parents to pay attention to is not the monster who makes headlines. It's the one in their circle of trust.
90% of the time, it's not going to be a stranger on the street jumping out of the bushes. It's going to be a family member, an uncle, someone at the church. It's going to be someone that knows your child.
Yes, I've known him since he was a baby.
It was a close family relationship that allowed this molester access to his victim. They were second cousins. He says he was 50 years old when he first touched the boy under the same roof where the family was sleeping.
How were you able to be alone with him?
When I would come over, we would put the sleeping bag in the floor, in the living room floor.
Investigator Cerna says the children most likely to be preyed upon are not chosen randomly.
What we see there is they go after vulnerable children, children maybe that have self-esteem issues themselves, children that maybe come from underprivileged families, single-parent families where they're left alone a lot.
And when the predators are strangers, they're not just looking for the lonely, shy kid out here. They're also searching for the one who spends a lot of time here, the virtual playground.
And if they're online every day from 3 in the afternoon to 6, maybe they're a latchkey child. They don't have that parental supervision looking over them.
At the San Francisco Child Abuse and Exploitation Unit, Inspector Ken Esposito works on the newest frontier of crimes against children, social networks.
Most children between the age of 13 and 17, statistics show, have about 150 friends on average on their Facebook or MySpace page. So about 10% of those friends are not who they say they are. We may have someone in Baltimore, in Boston, sitting there talking to your child who lives here in San Francisco.
Esposito says just in the city last year, investigators handled 60 cases involving child exploitation over the internet, a handful where children actually made contact with strangers who sent cell phones, cash, and travel tickets to their victims.
Wanting to actually set up and make arrangements to meet with young children.
Investigators say whether the predator knows the family or not, fewer than 10% of child sex crimes are ever reported, with boys far less likely than girls to tell anyone about abuse.
How did they find out?
It was like around 5 years later, I guess he had told his mom. They were stunned. They were stunned completely.
This man says he spent 10 years in prison for his crimes. Now on parole, he says he's speaking to parents because they are the only ones who can keep someone like him away from their children. Investigators say parents need to check in with their kids early and often about the adults they spend time with. They also say watch for changes in behavior. A toddler that's potty trained suddenly has accidents. A child that loved to go to practice or over to a relative's house now is reluctant. All of those are signs something is wrong, and they say parents need to keep tabs on their kids' and teens' internet activity. Vicky Nguyen, NBC, Bay Area News.